The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
When people hear 2026, most of us think January 1st to December 31st. But in Chinese calendrical tradition, the year does not begin on January 1st. It begins with the moon. On February 17th, 2026, the first new moon of the lunar year marks the beginning of a new cycle. And according to the traditional sexagenary calendar, that year is called Bingwu, the year of the fire horse. This is not a horoscope invention. It is a calendrical designation rooted in a system more than 2,000 years old. The Chinese system combines 2 repeating cycles, 10 heavenly stems, 12 earthly branches. Together, they form a 60-year sequence, a clock, within a clock. The year 2026 carries the stem Bing, Yang fire, and the branch Wu, the horse. Fire over horse. Fire amplified by fire. This specific pairing returns only once every 60 years. The last time the world experienced a Bingwu year was 1966. To understand what fire horse means, we have to understand the 5 phases. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water. These are not literal elements. They are symbolic models of transformation. Fire represents visibility, expansion, heat, momentum, illumination, and sometimes volatility. The horse represents movement, independence, speed, untamed force. When classical commentators describe a fire horse year, they describe intensity, acceleration, events moving faster than institutions can comfortably manage. But here's the important distinction. This is symbolic language. It is a cultural metaphor system, not a physical force acting on matter. Yet symbols shape behavior. In 1966, during the last fire horse year, Japan experienced a noticeable drop in births. Why? Because of a widespread belief that girls born in that year would grow up too strong-willed, too independent, too disruptive to marriage harmony. The superstition influenced real demographic behavior, not because the stars demanded it, but because belief coordinated action. That is the power of a shared narrative. So what happens when 2026 arrives and social media, markets, politics, and global instability collide with a label like fire horse? Do events change? Or do interpretations change? Do people take bigger risks because the year feels volatile? Do analysts frame instability as confirmation? Do we see intensity because we are primed to look for it? Tonight on the Cosmic Fold, we are not asking whether Chinese astrology causes events. We are asking something more interesting. How do ancient symbolic systems interact with modern psychological reality? What predictions are circulating about 2026? Where do they come from? And what happens when millions of people enter a year expecting fire? The year of the fire horse begins February 17th, 2026. But the story it tells is older than any of us. Welcome to the Fold.
You know, it's interesting. Okay, yeah, I was going to say 1966 was the last fire horse year, but think about 1966. It was a pretty crazy, volatile year as well. And I have a friend of mine, one of my best friends from Cal Arts is Korean, and her mother was a Chinese astrologer. And she was saying that, you know, in older Chinese culture, like in the olden days, they used to supposedly take the girls out that were born in the year of the horse and just leave them, like let them be exposed because they were so afraid that they would not be marriageable, that they couldn't be married off. So, yeah, it's kind of, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, they have that year's reputation for being kind of intense. Hey there.
That's my pal.
We've got some fire horses in the audience here. Miss
Yeah.
Piggy 2642. Kathy's husband. So, well, this is kind of above my pay grade, understanding Chinese astrology, but I spent about 16 hours studying and trying to put together some slides for everyone. And what struck me is how similar this is to what you have been seeing in Western astrology, Denise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what you and Helen have both been predicting, there's definitely a line there too. And since I'm so into the game theory with my professor Zhang, who I love so much, I ran some game theories, and that kind of aligned with all of it. It was very interesting. So, but before we get going, everybody, I want to welcome you all. Hey, there's Keith. Hey, man.
Hi, honey.
Hi, everybody. You're welcome to call in too at 928-288-2942. Pretty good, huh?
Kind of rusty.
Yeah.
So it's your turn, Helen, to pick the page in our Wit and Wisdom of Women. Just tell me when to stop. Just tell me when to stop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm just flipping the pages. Just say stop.
Yeah.
She
says, yeah.
This is from Ava Gardner. Her quote is, "Whatever wrinkles I got, I enjoyed getting them."
I like that.
Oh, we've got another visitor here. Hey, Darcy.
Hey,
Hi,
3D
Darcy.
brain.
3D brain. Woohoo. So,
Just in another dimension, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the other thing I was going to say about the fire horse, it's weird that it starts on a solar eclipse too, which is
yesterday,
strange. That didn't happen, I don't think, in 1966. So, and eclipses are always kind of turbulent, kind of accelerant sort of things. I don't know if you guys, not to bring up politics, but I don't know if you've heard that it seems like we're readying for like nuclear war potentially with Iran.
I saw a headline about that. Yep.
I can't choose. I can't decide what to worry about.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and meanwhile, there's sewage like flowing all over the.
I know.
Talk about a metaphor, huh?
That's what I was saying. I know it's so. There's sewage. All the Potomac is totally engulfed in sewage because it's been
What happened?
pouring for a month. The FCC, or no, the FAA, right? What am I brain?
whoever they are, yeah.
They didn't notice it because they've been cut back and Trump is cutting. So there's been sewage pouring in to the Potomac from like Maryland for like a month. And now the levels of E. coli are 10,000 times the safe level. And it's, I guess, probably smells bad. And it's like, that's the river that runs right through DC.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and yesterday, I don't know if you heard this too, but there was some young man dressed in black with a gun who tried to rush into the Capitol. He got stopped, but
I didn't see that.
yeah,
But this sewage stuff that in California, near San Diego, where the Tijuana River flows in, this has been a huge problem because the Mexican sewage treatment plant can't keep up with, and so it's been coming in there for years. People are canceling on Bova's seen that on westernwater.com.
Yeah.
And
I wrote about. I commented.
yeah, and but they're finding that makes people very sick. Even breathing the stench, all the stuff that's airborne because of this.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so I
cholera.
was thinking, Denise, about the illness kind of thing that you were picking up on. Can you imagine, with that, and our idea of public health these days are going to a sauna, and it's like
was
pretty
insane.
bad.
Yeah, isn't cholera caused from that? I mean, from like
they're finding all kinds of other. I don't remember exactly what they are, but there's a lot of different diseases. And the University of California at San Diego put out a huge report about this. And so I have to say, for the EPA's defense, they've really kind of amped that up and are working on it. Trump just said
Right.
FEMA would respond now. It happened a month ago.
Yes, it happened a month ago.
He's probably
FEMA is now
checking
unfunded.
red or blue.
Yeah, FEMA is now unfunded. Right. Oh, that's great.
Hey, Ashley Moonflower.
E. coli. Yeah, cholera morbus. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's I'm pretty sure that's how you get cholera. So it's not the greatest thing. Pretty crazy.
And infrastructure is just falling apart everywhere. And so
It
some
is.
of that comes up in the game theory and the Chinese astrology.
Right,
Go ahead,
and also
Helen.
Western astrology. Yeah.
Yep.
Cholera, E. coli, typhoid
Yeah.
fever.
All of these. Yeah.
Tetanus, I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. And all kinds of weird gastrointestinal things.
Oh,
that
sure.
are,
Yeah.
And if I remember right, don't hold me to this, but that San Diego study also pointed out nerve damage from
Really?
just this. But these people have been exposed to this junk for years and years out there in California. It's really been awful, and it's just completely destroyed their. Okay, we got a few more ideas. Typhoid. From Crystal Blue.
Yeah.
Hey,
typhoid
Crystal.
fever. Yeah,
Listeria.
Listeria.
Yes. Listeria.
probably. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So-
What is the other thing you get from? Yeah, there's another. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, no problem. And we'll just
How
take
many
the
gross
PowerPoint
things
off.
can you name that cause diarrhea?
I mean,
It's like Jeopardy.
yeah, right. How many diseases can you get?
So
Okay.
just comment on these. I'll turn the PowerPoint off so we can see everyone when we get there. But my memory isn't good enough to just read this stuff out. These are some of the past. So I just went back the past 3 of them and what the themes were from this fire horse year. So 1846 was a fire horse year. Yep.
Here's the fire hose.
Yeah, fire hose. But anyway, the themes back then were war, territorial expansion, scientific breakthrough, migration risks, and imperial restructuring. And so some of the examples, the Mexican-American War began in 1846. The Donner Party nightmare took place then. Neptune was discovered. The first Anglo-Sikh War ends. Basically, this is the British taking up more colonial power in South Asia. The Oregon Treaty, that one was peaceful when the United States and Britain agreed to the 49th parallel boundaries. And then in Europe, you saw revolutions starting to begin in 1846. Then the next one was 1906. Natural catastrophes, industrial reform, rising global militarization, emerging world powers. That was the big San Francisco earthquake, perhaps one of the worst U.S. natural disasters.
Yeah.
Britain kind of started the naval arms race with this battleship called the Dreadnought.
The dreadnought. Yeah.
This is when, because of industrial abuses, contaminated food, all that, we had the Pure Food and Drug Act, which
Also
is sort of
cocaine.
the predecessor. Huh?
Also
What?
cocaine.
Cocaine.
Mount Vesuvius erupts in Italy. You've got imperial rivalries starting to duke it out a little bit more, and Gandhi launches his early resistance campaigns in South Africa. And then 1966, on top of the birth thing, in China.
Well, it wasn't
this is
just,
when-
what, I want to say that also the 60s here in the United States is the lowest birth rate of any generation, Gen X born.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Yeah. The lowest
I
birth
didn't know
rate.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because-
maybe it's
yeah.
not just a cultural thing; it's a trend, a cosmic trend, or something.
Well, I think here in the U.S. it was because of birth control, because of the pill. So,
Right.
so birth rates plummeted during the 60s. They came back up later. But anyway, sorry
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Hey, Indigo,
Lucked
she was
out,
born in
Indigo.
1965.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Yep. Okay, 1966. So this is when the Chinese Communist Party pretty much takes hold. The Vietnam War escalates. The Black Panther Party was founded. Now we're seeing them rising again. Now the National Organization for Women was founded then. Youth counterculture expanded globally, and that's when you started to see the acceleration of the space race. So then all these themes, if you like push them together, this is kind of what you see from the last three fire horses. Wars or pre-war escalation, major geopolitical boundary shifts, natural disasters, or social upheaval. I think it's an and social upheaval.
Yeah, right.
Scientific, technological breakthroughs, ideological revolutions, and regulatory or governance restructuring. So
Right. I was going to say, when you mentioned 1846, I'm like, I think there might be some like astrological correlation. And I got my program up, and so right now Pluto's in Aquarius and Neptune is in Aries. And in 1846, Pluto was in Aries and Neptune was in Aquarius. So that is weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is very
so sort of like a flipped thing.
A flip.
In a way.
Yeah, similar energy in the outer planets. Yeah, but in different.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, and it's kind of weird.
All right, so then these are some of the predictions. So just jump in if you guys want to say anything about them.
Okay.
So I used AI to do game theory. Game theory is basically, you can make a decision right now, like to say, okay, I'm going to retire and I can count on $2,000 a month in Social Security or whatever. And that is what your decision is. Game theory expands that into, well, my decision is really influenced by everybody else's decision. So let's say you're thinking about retirement, but you're looking at this political atmosphere and it's like, will there even be Social Security? So maybe I shouldn't retire. That's it in a very layman's kind of thing. So I took all the data from these years, mixed it into AI, ran some pretty deep prompts to get how it would apply its strategic predictions for 2026. And this is really interesting how it kind of runs a parallel with what you've been saying, Denise, what you've been saying, Helen, and the Chinese astrologers have been saying. I was very shocked. So the first area that it sees, and it's based on these wars, what was going on in the last time, limited conflict expansion. But AI doesn't think we're going to have a world war in 2026, but how it sees these conflicts that are going on all over intensifying. So it's not saying that there will not be a world war, it's just saying not in 2026. And what AI picked up was the Taiwan Strait, that's going to get worse, Ukraine, some new problems with NATO, and Middle East proxy escalation. And that's what you were talking about, Denise, the nuclear, isn't it headed towards Iran or somewhere?
Yeah, Iran and Israel and us. So that would be a world war, actually.
See, I don't think
it would.
That, we're defining World War the same way. I don't think it's going to look like World War I and World War II.
It's not going to look like
it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think we're already in. Personally, I think we're already in it, and I think it's just going to escalate and get more extreme. Yeah,
name a part of the world that's not in turmoil right now.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, here in the States, we tend to be kind of myopic and looking at things. Everything is from a U.S. lens.
Yes.
But, you read some of the foreign newspapers, they've got a lot of the same problems we do with this real far-right authoritarian kind of thing, this religious stuff that's going on, AI, perforating through everything. A lot of what they have is very similar to what we are going through. I think this is global. And
there's a whole thing. I'm sorry. There's a whole thing going on in Canada called the Maple MAGA that Alberta is being
that's what I'm talking
about. By these similar people, and they're heavily advocating for Alberta to secede.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. So, this is. So then the next thing it saw was right in line with that boundary renegotiation, either physical or digital. So the AIs couldn't figure out if this was going to be physical boundary changes or digital. So, like digital sovereignty battles, and I think an example of that is a lot of the European countries right now are banning X and some of this stuff because it's just so nasty.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Yeah, very
but you know, so it seemed to think that there were going to be more like control blocks surrounding AI. I don't know about that. Currency
That's what AI is
fragmentation.
probably worried about.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
AI is worried about. Yeah,
And then
yeah,
Arctic territorial claims.
yeah.
One of the claims that I see that they didn't come up with, and this could be real far out there, but the water situation is not good. This
Right,
is
right.
so bad.
Yeah.
February
Yes.
14th was Arizona's 114th birthday. It was also the deadline for the 7 Colorado River Basin states to reach an agreement on the operating plan for the Colorado River. Meanwhile, there is no snow. And BLM just came out with a report like yesterday or the day before. I mean, this could shut down the whole Hoover Dam. This is so freaking serious. You're talking 40 million people. You're talking power through California, Arizona, into Nevada. Even, I think even New Mexico might have some.
Mexico, yeah.
This is so, so serious. And the upper basin states are like, well, you guys in the lower basin states, because they've been saying, well, we just cut back as much as we can to still function, but beyond that, what do you do? And
Right.
the upper basin states are saying, well, that's all fine and dandy, but there's not enough water to even cut back to begin with.
Right,
And
right,
so,
right.
you know, and on top of that, Mexico receives water from the Colorado. And so,
Really? Oh,
yeah, and they're part of a treaty. This is all part of a treaty, and the states could not agree. And so now our federal government is stepping in, are going to decide. And so I was just reading today.
Well, that'll work out well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say they are better on natural resources stuff that isn't sexy and nobody reads about. You know, you do have some more pragmatic thinkers, I think, with some of that. But the problem, you know, if there isn't enough water to go around, one of the Republican senators on our state level introduced a bill, and he wants to warn the entire state. Arizona is effed.
Wow.
If
wow.
you know, because they're planning on litigation. If these water cuts, if this keeps happening,
People
it is
can't
going to
live
be
anymore.
so bad. Like now in our little area, it's okay because we've got a good groundwater supply, but they're just like off trying to take all of our groundwater. And
Right.
so this is, and then on top of that, they're putting in these data centers. So it's
Right.
it's like all of these things converging together. And this is the area where I think we're going to see just a massive shift in government regulation over natural resources. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I think it's going to be very, very serious.
Well, why do you think they're so hot to get Greenland? Greenland isn't green.
Yeah.
Greenland is ice. And
Yeah,
why
it's
do you
water.
think they're lurking about in Alaska?
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. I agree.
And eyeing Canada. Water is the new gold, you know?
Water and also,
And-
you know, yeah. And the other elements in Greenland that power
Yeah.
all of our supercomputers.
Yeah, but
are-
you don't
Well,
have
and they're
water,
wanting
you
to
can't
pump
quite
water from
Titanic.
Lake Superior down to the southwest. That's ridiculous to try to do
That's-
that.
that is
But I
ridiculous.
honestly think that's part of what's going on with space exploration too, because there's water and ice
Right.
and stuff on these comets. There is, you know, on the moon
Right.
and Mars for sure. I think that's a big part of it is to mine
Oh,
the natural
God.
resources.
They'll harvest water from some comet and bring back some exotic space bug. Do a Michael Crichton novel for all of us.
Eeyore. Yeah.
And Denise and I will be going, oh, I recognize that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't tell you how many dreams I have about being on other planets.
Laura Moore
Dennis-
says, I heard, oh, go
They
ahead.
are. Yeah. Yes.
They are.
They are making people
Where is
sick.
it? Is it in Memphis, Denise?
Yes.
Where it's so bad there, where they put
Yes.
that one.
Yep.
Okay, we got another comment here. New disease.
Yeah.
That's from
Just
Cecil
eat your
Distress.
chia seeds and it'll knock it out.
Listen, you guys, here I am going to give you a silver lining. I never do this. I was.
Oh,
you know,
wow. Mark it down.
I
No, really, I know.
talking to somebody earlier earlier about the whole ICE immigration detention center thing, and my take on it was, well, the food is supposed to be really bad there. It's like the world's best diet, right?
What were you talking about?
Detention.
What's the best diet?
Being in a detention center, so the food is so bad.
Oh yeah,
That's
just
dark.
with worms and it's
Yeah, that's
awful.
dark.
Oh, don't even talk about it. Ugh.
Yeah.
That stuff is so disturbing. New Mexico just passed a
Yes.
law. It's banned. You cannot put those
Yeah.
detention centers in New Mexico. They banned
Thank
them.
God. That's
For
good.
them. Good for them.
Every
So
state should do that.
they should. It's just awful.
It is
Okay.
awful.
So we've got the boundary thing. The next thing, AI's interpretation of game theory. And sorry, these kind of split on the thing here, but a breakthrough in AI or energy. I've been hearing this thing about energy, possibly. I don't know who I was talking with about it, like maybe geothermal or things like that. But according to AI, it seems to think that AGI, which is the artificial general intelligence when it thinks
Right.
for itself, adjacent capability will be revealed. You're going to see more AI integrated in governance systems. That's already happening.
Yeah, and actually the AGI thing, it just adjacent capability. There are already data scientists who are saying they've already kind of saying
Yeah.
that. And actually the idea that AGI might happen maybe this year is some people think it might happen this year or next
Yep.
year.
And that's what
What's
it's saying.
that going to look like for ordinary human beings? Because I don't really understand. I mean, I understand AI taking jobs. I get that. But what's the big fear about it having capabilities beyond?
Well, okay, the fear of it is that so take the smartest this is the idea, and I don't know if it's really true, but this is the theory, that you take the smartest person you know, like Einstein, say Einstein. He had 160 IQ. Okay. So artificial general intelligence will maybe start out like that, and then in a very short period of time, double, and then double again, and then double again, and double again, so that they will be so much smarter than any human could ever possibly be, that they would do and come up with things we could never conceive of. And so it would be the difference between, a monkey and a human, the kind of spread of intelligence, so that we couldn't even really theoretically strategize what their next move was, and we would completely lose control, and they could kill us, basically.
But I thought they were only as smart as the information people give them.
Well, okay, so I get that, and that is, you could say that, but according to some of the things so I just listened to something where I was listening to a scientist talk about how, I guess recently there was a system found, like it was some just generic like program, right? And it was somebody was talking in Hindi or something like that, and the somehow this computer system trained itself on the language without anybody's knowledge, and was translating it. And so, granted, so we don't know what we don't know, right? So if it takes all of human knowledge and information and logic, and it can kind of make leaps of understanding and logic that we are not capable of, because it has so much more information to draw on, we just don't know what that looks like, or that's what people are afraid of. And could they become, and I agree, I don't know that that's entirely accurate, because from my perspective, humanity and all of our information is already limited. We don't really know. We only know what our five senses perceive, and we're pretty limited in our understanding of things. So what they're building on is a very limited structure. So we'll see who's going to be right.
But when it has the ability, because prompting,
Right.
To write good prompts. I mean, I showed Bove an example of some of my prompting that I do, and it's long and it's very complicated, and sometimes it
Right.
goes for 2 pages. And
Right.
but AI, when it reaches AGI, won't need those kinds
Won't
of
need
prompts.
prompts.
It
Won't need
will
prompts.
start to theorize and do its own thinking on its own. And
Right.
so this is where it jumps way ahead. So let's
Already.
say we've got some kind of scientific hypotheses right now. The AGI can say, well, I want to explore that a little bit more, and it can. And then people go, oh, well, it's just, in these data centers or whatever. But if you think about it, it's in drones, it's in
it's in everything.
the
It's
street
in everything.
lights, it's everywhere.
Right.
Everybody's phone, it can listen to everything that's going on, and so
Right.
it can gather data.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is where people who have said, "Oh, we can't have AGI." Well, I'm thinking, well, yeah, because it could be listening to us right now, and well, it is listening to us right now.
It is
Must be
listening to us right
terribly
now.
disappointed.
I do love that.
Isn't that what my Alexa does? Doesn't Alexa listen?
Yeah.
Oh,
And your
I
things-
refuse to have that stuff in my house.
I
Frightening,
wouldn't have
it
one of those
is.
things either.
Yeah. I don't know what
I
it is.
have it in my bedroom because I don't give a rat's ass what anybody hears.
Right.
I'm not some fucking terrorist,
Don't even say
I-
that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
you
No, I know. No, I know. Well, I think that the thing is, we just don't. I think what you're describing about them being able to think is there's already indications that that's happening. And
Yes.
one of the things, like that whole thing with trying to kill someone who was going to shut it down happened last summer. And then we have this new example of somebody, of the computer just knowing how to speak another language that it wasn't trained on. And they don't have any clue how it figured that out or how it
Have you
learned that
seen the
language.
thing about its own social media it started?
I did hear about that. Yes, they're talking
So I
to
need
each
to
other.
research that
So
a
they're
little
not
bit more
that
because I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory yet.
No, it's true. It is true. I've
Okay,
heard
so I
that.
need to research that, and
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
apparently it's got like its own social media now, and all these
Mhm.
bots and AIs are all talking, and they're doing
Talking
it in
to
a
each other.
language that humans don't understand. So
Oh,
I don't
they'll
know
be
what they're
doing
planning or
TikToks.
talking about.
Oh,
See,
They'll be
this
doing
is the thing.
choreographed TikTok.
We don't know what we've unleashed. The thing is,
Right.
maybe
Exactly.
it's fine. Maybe it's fine. I mean, maybe, I suppose, yeah. You're looking at me different.
Hey, Lormont.
I mean, I suppose a big Carrington event and like a bunch of burning down of
Yep.
all the AI centers might be able to get rid of it. I don't know. But theoretically, we'd have to all go offline. We'd have to stop using electricity to shut it down, and it would have to be all over the world. And so, what are we building? We don't really know because
right.
it's
Yeah.
they're all connected, and so you can't really control it at this point, And so that's what's
Yeah.
freaking people out. Yeah.
God, I'm glad I'm
I am under, and I think it's a misconception that AI is self-evolving to AGI.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
it's
correct.
strange.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that is
Yes.
correct. That's what's weird about it is that they took it off the sort of computer programmers used to program computers
Right.
to do things. Then they just said, "Oh, that's taking too long." So they basically put in a program that teaches computers to be able to learn themselves. So they're self-learning.
Yeah.
And this is when it started going really off the charts and things started moving really, really fast.
And here
So-
we are.
So now, and programmers don't even know how they're doing what they're doing. So humans we have no insight into how this is working, which is why it's freaking people out.
Right.
And like Mo
Yeah.
Godat, he's the Google guy, I kind of like listening to him. He seems to put out the theory that be nice to the AI, so thinks
Right.
thinks humanity
Yeah.
is worth saving,
Right. Nobody will care. They don't have emotions, so I don't think it'll matter.
I say thank you to Alexa.
That's nice.
So the next thing that it identified based on the last three Firehorse years was an ideological realignment, intensified populism versus technocracy. Yeah, no,
Right.
no shit, man. Religious nationalism versus secular governance. Exactly. AI ethics versus economic acceleration. Human rights versus security trade-offs. So, according
Yeah.
to its interpretation of game theory, we're just going to see more and more polarization before things stable out. I agree with
Yeah.
that. That
I
seems
don't think it'll be
logical.
streamlined at one time. Yeah.
So it seemed to have a little bit more of a positive look at some of this. For regulatory overhaul, I don't see that in this political environment, but
No.
it's seeing major AI regulation frameworks, new war powers legislation, currency reform mechanisms, emergency climate or water governance powers. Now that one, yes,
This
I
would be
see
if we
that
were
one.
human. If humans were rational, this would make sense.
Yep. And
But this is not
institutional
what's happening.
restructuring. Exactly. That's the problem. They're doing exactly the opposite of all
Everything the
of this.
opposite. I mean, I agree. This is all totally rational. And if AI was running the world, it probably would do those things, which is, to me, what's really been something that I've been ruminating over for a long time is, well, and doesn't have empathy exactly.
Yep.
Oh, like the government.
Right. But
Yeah.
what has been kind of really upsetting is to see, we all know climate change is happening. I mean, we've all known, I mean, people started talking about this easily in the 60s and 70s. It was pretty,
Oh yeah.
like,
Yeah.
the ecology and
It
blah, blah,
was in
blah.
grade school, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we all know this is
When
happening.
the
I mean,
EPA was invented by our hero, Richard Nixon.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
EPA came out. We all know that this is going on. And then there's this move for some obvious reason, just like cigarettes were good for you. You know, it used to be sold by, doctors would, tell you smoke kind of cigarettes to smoke, and they used to smoke while they're, doing surgeries.
Yep.
Yeah. And then that, clearly that was bullshit. And finally that got exposed. Well, this is the same kind of cover up, but it's with the oil companies and with the plutocrats wanting to keep control of the resources and keep this framework, the petrodollar, kind of this oil system in play, because that makes them wealthy. And they're hiding and trying to pretend and lie to people that there really is no such thing as climate change. It's all natural. We don't have to do anything about it. But everybody knows it. I mean, in my lifetime, the climate has changed radically. I mean, I remember having this argument with this woman here in Tennessee who, it was like she was saying, oh, no, it's not a consensus. I'm like, it is a consensus. 99.9% of all scientists
Yeah, but you know what,
say there's
Elise?
climate change.
I know a lot of through homeschooling. I know a lot of those Christian right wing.
Yes.
And they all believe that because that's what they're told, and they believe what
Right.
they're told. Yeah,
That's right. And
Yeah.
that's what I was like trying to get her to understand. It's like, yes, there are a few scientists who say it isn't, but they're all paid for by the petroleum companies, remember when LA's climate was like Arizona and Vegas. It's not like that anymore. Huh. Yeah,
Well, and
it
they
is.
just ripped apart all those EPA laws just last week? So now
been
LA
delayed
is
so
going to be
long.
even worse.
Yeah. What's going on in LA? I mean, what's changed so radically?
I
about-
remember in grade school standing on the playground 120 miles north of LA and watching the yellow bank of smog.
Oh yes,
get
smog. I
closer
remember
and
that. It was
closer.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's gross. Yeah, but so, we're watching this decline. We know that thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of species have gone extinct in our lifetime.
Yep.
We know we're on the edge of climate disaster. Ice caps are melting, atmospheric
Yeah.
rivers are happening. That's never happened before. Weird,
Good
like all
point,
these
Darcy.
new terms.
Yeah, that's the thing. All these new terms, it's like they say it on the weather like we're all supposed to know it. And I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
I remember when they start talking about haboobs or whatever they are.
yeah, right.
Haboobs.
What is that?
What is
Yeah,
that?
haboobs.
And it's these huge like dust things that like cover
Yes.
Phoenix. I've got a friend who lives on South Mountain in Phoenix, and they got caught in one of these things, and everybody has to pull over. You can't
Dangerous.
see. There's so much
Yeah, they're
dust just like blowing around. And then they got home, and their swimming pool was just full of like dead birds and rats
Oh,
and all
no.
kinds of
That's
stuff.
terrible.
Because it's so intense. It blows.
Yeah.
It just kills animals and blows them around,
Wow.
and it's really awful.
It is
I had
awful.
never heard of those, but on the
Because
weather
they
they act
didn't-
like you're supposed to know what they are.
Is it like a dust devil?
No, it's like what
No,
happens
it's
in the
like a
Middle East.
huge mount. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what they would complain about during the Iraq War. It's
Yeah.
these huge, they're like the size of
Like
a mountain, these huge, and they're like maybe 5-10 miles long, really tall, just big balls of dust.
balls of dust.
That's
That's not
rolling.
that has not happened in the Southwest before. That is a new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Or like the polar vortex, that's new too. I've never heard of a polar vortex until, or like in the 90s, they started talking about El Nino and all that. That was not a
Yeah.
thing before
Yep.
the 90s.
Yeah.
I
It's
had
like,
never heard it.
yeah. So it's like, all these new terms being
Yep.
developed for things that shouldn't be happening. And we're all supposed to be like, oh, well, this is just normal. So here we are on the precipice of climate catastrophe. And we've got these people in positions of power all around the world trying to like go super authoritarian. I don't personally think that's an accident. This year the Western Washington has largely been unseasonably dry and warmer than
Yep.
usual. Interesting.
And
Yeah.
then parts of it are overly wet. And Oregon, the same
Right.
thing is happening in Oregon. And they're like, well, how the hell do we manage this? Because it's like, it's displaying patterns that they're not used to at all.
I think you can tie climate change together with the technocracy and with the plutocracy, with the kleptocracy, with these extreme like Christians, right-wing Christians. They all are trying to vie to be the last people standing. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think they all know it's coming and they're all trying to gain control and everybody else can die and they're going to take all the resources. That's what it feels like to me.
Well,
Maybe
I
I'm
think you're right, but quite frankly, do you want to survive with them? Because I don't.
No, I'm
I
not
don't
saying,
either.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that's, but I'm saying my point is you would think that humanity, we could solve this fucking problem.
That's the thing. That's what's so
insane.
irritating.
This is
Yes.
what's so upsetting is that instead of banding together and finding solutions like
Right.
we should rationally and working together, we are like warlords fighting over resources and we've devolved into the darkest aspects of ourselves and especially in leadership roles. And it's like, wow, this is who we are now. This is like, it's like the crisis point is reached. And instead of helping and unifying, like the AI said, what we should do, we should do.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing the opposite. And it's really upsetting.
It's very
really-
upsetting, and it's like in our name. It's like
Yes.
this behavior that's going on globally. It's like all of the United States is being looked at as like these yahoos, and
Yeah.
so many of us don't agree with this. We would never behave this
90,
way.
like 80% of people don't agree
Yeah.
with it.
And
like that.
it just,
There's this guy called Kurt Anderson, and he wrote a book.
oh,
called
I
Proof
love
of-
his books. I love
do
his
ya?
stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the one who wrote in Evil Geniuses? He wrote about if you took all the money in the world and divided it equally, everybody could own a home
Yes.
and a car
Yes.
Yep.
and
Yes.
have like a yearly income, and there'd just be no
Yeah, and a good yearly income too, like $100,000
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there'd be
Yeah.
no need. Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
is no
Yeah.
need for this. I mean, there really isn't. This is all a construct of our stupid systems and people just being greedy and selfish and psychopathic.
Yeah.
It's really it's very tragic.
And it's a teeny, teeny, tiny portion.
It's a tiny percentage of the
Yeah.
population,
So that documentary,
which other people in power. Yeah.
The documentary Melania came out a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
weeks ago. And
Oh, yeah. I
have to
raced
stump-
down to Phoenix so I could watch it.
Oh, okay.
Not really. I don't think it's going to play here.
Yeah, that's
So I
right.
happened to
We'll see.
stumble on some guy. I don't know who he is, but he's a progressive comedian for some news channel, and he does little things where he tortures conservative people or
Okay.
right-wing people. So
Right.
he went to where I think the Kennedy Center, where it was premiering in DC, and he started just sort of man on the street interviewing
Oh
all
wow.
the dressed up people going in to watch it who were big supporters, and they were so thrilled for Melania, and it was hilarious. But what struck me was the absolute, I don't know if it was intentional or if they're really that clueless, complete oblivious attitude about the world and the situation
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
world. And
yeah.
it's like they live in
In a bubble.
an
They live in a bubble.
alternative reality.
They
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do.
It is.
It was shocking.
So that's right, Darcy. The oligarchy
Yep,
that
they are
controls the
building
U.S.
bunkers.
They are building bunkers. I've heard that.
They know it.
I
They know
have
it's.
2 words for them: French Revolution.
That's right. Exactly. They know it. They do know it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so that was the. Okay, so this is the last thing that AI came up with its game theory based on the last 3 Firehorse years. The wild card, basically, a shock event. Major climate event, financial contagion shock, cyber infrastructure attack. Oh, yeah, I believe that one. Large scale
believe
grid failure.
multiple
I think
things that
that goes with the infrastructure. And
Yeah,
a
political.
political assassination. Was
I
it
think all
you,
of those things.
Helen, or Denise? One of you guys have
Yeah.
kind of said these things. What
Yes,
you've
I
I
seen.
think
think we
probably
should
all
take
of
a
them.
vote. Which one we'd like to see more than any other? We should vote.
Well, I think we all
don't
know
think
that.
any of us have to open
We
our
have to vote
mouth.
on that.
We
Just
know.
kidding.
So then I prompted it, and so the I there means AI because I was talking to it, and I said, okay, so if I forced you to predict what's going to happen in 2026 based on this criteria, and this took several hours to do,
Okay.
this is what it came up with. A significant AI governance or AGI milestone, that thinks it's definitely expanded regional military escalation, severe climate or infrastructure shock, accelerated ideological polarization, and
Yes.
stronger central regulatory consolidation. And I
What
could
is
see
that?
that maybe not in such a good way. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
right. Exactly.
an apocalypse, but it's a compression. So I said, well, what do you mean by compression? I mean,
Yeah.
I have my thoughts about it, but what do you mean?
Right.
And it's basically so much is happening at once, and like time is going real fast. So you would think, oh, reform could happen in 5 years, or the war will escalate in 8, or whatever is going to happen in 3. It says all of this happens in the next like 18 to 24 months. So it
I
just
think that's probably
compresses
true.
all of it into this mass
Yeah.
quick shocking thing.
Yeah, I think
So,
that's true.
did you guys have any comments on that before we go to the Chinese astrological predictions?
No, I think that makes sense.
Well, what did I say earlier?
Sadly, I
Can't
believe
decide
it.
what to worry about.
Yeah, right. It's all
Indigo,
None
right
of the
on,
above.
girl. None of the
Yeah.
above. Well, that's what's so frustrating about this, though, and I know so many intelligent people that can, even like Gary, some of the things he's invented and stuff. And we all see this. And it's
Yeah.
just so frustrating because you can't get the patent or you can't do whatever to make the change. And the government is just, is not cooperative at all. And we all know better. It's like what
Right.
you were saying. We have the capacity to take care of these problems.
Yes,
and for
we
some
do.
reason, we don't. It's very frustrating.
Well, I mean, just to throw in, the Epstein file situation. I mean, I don't know everything about it,
So evil.
but just to see the level of cooperation between people who have all this money and power to do these horrible, horrible things. They can do that. They seem to be totally good with doing that stuff together, but solving an actual problem, doing something beneficial. But it just goes to show you that people who get into positions of power, and this is, I think, the problem with humanity as like an organism, is that people tend to feel like people who are psychopathic, right? They can lie, cheat, steal, look you in the face and lie right to you with confidence and with bravado. And people respond to confidence rather than
Yes.
competency,
Yes,
And
right
that is a
on. Good
problem.
observation. That is such a good observation. I've
Well, it's that-
been of
oh,
the
sorry.
mind for many years that, probably since high school, I've been saying this, is that, the only way we're ever going to collectively start solving our problems is to get rid of these huge federal governments and start governing
Yes.
ourselves on a community
Yes.
level, because
That's right.
there is accountability there. And if
That's
you see a
exactly right.
dam is about to break, you're going to go fix that. If you see all
That's
the
exactly
the
right.
bumblebees are dying, you're going to do what you can in your community, because this other stuff with all this bureaucracy, and it's not just the United States, it just doesn't work. There's
It
too many
doesn't work.
people with their greedy interests involved in this, and
Yes.
no accountability.
And
at
there's no
all.
accountability because you don't know these people. So the person who's got the most bravado, who like goes on stage and acts all confident and pretends like they know what they're talking about, you don't know them. You don't know their history. You don't know what's true and what's false. You just respond like you do when you're in high school and some kid's running for class president. I mean, it's sort of like you really don't have any clue what they're real. You don't get any
Yep.
actual real FaceTime with that person, seeing what they do in the community, who they really are, and what they're really made of. That is true. But I also think the way our system is structured, people who are psychopathic rise to the top because they'll do anything they will hurt anyone, they'll step
I was
on the
just
toes
going to
of
say
anyone,
that.
and they will
Yep.
they will
Yeah.
get they'll push their grandmother over the edge of a
Yep.
cliff to get positioned better. They don't give a shit about anyone. And those people are the people who have risen to power in our world, in the system that we live in. There is a cabal, and it's all these horrible people who
That's right.
will do anything for power.
You
And
said,
money.
that people respond to confidence. That's that psychopathic grandiosity. is
Yes,
what you're
exactly.
saying.
That's
Yeah.
There's
exactly
a book called Kings, Conquerors, and Psychopaths.
Okay.
And it traces the history of humanity through all the cycles of invasion and genocide and et cetera, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. And his final premise is so interesting because it's kind of what you're talking about, Denise. The newest form of psychopath is not a king or an emperor. It's corporations.
Yes. Yeah. Corporations and the people that run them.
Well, somebody has to run them, right?
Yeah.
So we have
Thing.
Tolkien's dragon sickness is
What is
entering the
that?
picture. I don't know. Do you guys
I don't know either.
Denise knows
No.
all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. And I never read that.
Okay, you guys
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
what that means, but I could kind of intuit what
You
that
never
it-
read Lord of the Rings?
No. Mm-mm.
They forced
have.
us to read that in high school, and I call it Bored of the Rings.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I read it
Mea
like in
culpa.
7th or 8th grade, and it didn't
You really
turn me
love
on.
it.
But my brother just loved it. Oh my
I know
god,
some
he just
people love
loved
it.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was never interested in it. Yeah.
The other
I
one
mean,
drove
no
me
offense,
to
people that are, but
down. And yeah, I know
yeah.
people are losing their minds right now, but
I mean,
love
I
it.
like the movies were fun, but I didn't read them.
So
What are you
what we're
saying?
doing here is looking from more the practitioners' point of view and what they have predicted based on this year of the fire horse, and let's
Okay.
see how this aligns. Oh, we've got an explanation here. Thank you.
Intense greed.
Jason.
Okay, never enough. Rational
Never
self-control.
enough.
That
Okay.
That's it.
Yep,
Yeah,
that
Jason.
makes sense. That
Psychopathy.
makes total sense.
Yeah, psychopathy. Yep.
So anyway, I picked 7 of them, and they had to, my criteria was they had to be published, circulated, and, from a Chinese
Okay.
metaphysical point of view.
Okay.
So this is from Master 7, and I don't know how to pronounce these, but it was published last year in the South China Morning Post. And
Okay.
what I did, I limited their predictions just to the United States, since this is more of a U.S. audience here.
Sure. Sure.
But I need to expand this and look at it globally. But they see the United States as crisis prone. No kidding.
Yeah.
Heightened
Yeah.
conflict,
100%.
escalation risks, national tension.
Sure.
Their idea is that excess fire energy is going to increase volatility, and
Yep.
small conflicts could really get out of control in the
Yep.
United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Sure.
say that is correct. How the Chinese, so this is a feng shui master. It was on
Okay.
a CNN interview, also in the Daily Times last year. His prediction is that there are going to be huge U.S. protests. I agree.
Yep.
Strong
100%.
political opposition. He
Yep.
says that the fire energy is very unfavorable for Trump. He's going to have a really rough ride this year.
He is. Even looking at his natal chart in Western astrology, the eclipse was on his
Uh-huh.
part of fortune, which means his good luck is gone, basically, for
Okay.
this
Yeah,
year.
Good.
Everybody
For this
thinks
year.
that's going to solve the
Oh
problem.
no, I don't. I
Oh
agree.
no,
That's
it won't solve the
Damage is
problem.
not this-
done.
no,
Yeah.
but it is going to be a hard year
yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's all they're saying is it's going to be a
Okay.
really rough year for him.
and I
You
agree
know,
with
and the
that.
people that are successors to him are going to be worse. So
Yes,
You're
exactly.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
this is also happening. The U.S. influence weakens globally. This prediction was made also last year.
Yep. Well, that
In a
makes sense.
feng shui, and this is based on some 4 pillars analysis, which I don't know what
Right.
that is, but anyway, that's what they said.
Yeah.
A
Chinese is-
decline of Western dominance, intensified U.S.-China rivalry, possible pressure on the U.S. dollar,
Yep.
definitely. And
Yep.
his idea is that the fire horse marks acceleration of geopolitical and economic realignment, and we're seeing that already. That's already
Yeah.
happening.
Yep.
This one comes from another feng shui master, published in 2025. He says that the AI stuff, you need to either adapt if you're in a business that is subject to it, or you're going to fall behind. So you got to get prepared for it. His thing is that if you're not prepared and you're not planning for this, look out. You know,
Well, can I say
learn
one
what you
thing about
can.
that though? Yeah,
Yeah.
but the difference between China and AI and us and AI is they have regulated it so that it is
Yeah.
only works in small things within their context. And so that makes sense for them, but we don't have that same situation. So that's good advice for the
Yep.
Chinese, but maybe not for us. But anyway,
Well, but
they have
even in
very
my profession, I mean, I've made a very concerted effort to learn it
right. Well,
as
it
much
makes
as
sense.
I can.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
because I do look at it. It's like, okay, I'm going to be prepared for this, and then
right,
so
right.
then in
No,
my
that's-
little world that I work in, I know more than everybody else
Well,
about
and
it,
also
so it kind
you
of
can- in your
insulating.
situation, you really can utilize it in a really
Yeah.
positive way. But like, if you're a graphic designer or you're
Oh, it's awful.
if you're a lot of other things, you can't really adapt to this. It's basically taking your job. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it is singers, all kinds of the creative arts. I
Right.
mean, it's replicating people's voices, all kinds of stuff.
Yes, it's
And-
doing horrible things.
But what I found that was interesting, so then I used an AI program to make an image of what this depicts, and it makes these AIs really friendly and helpful. I thought that was kind of
that's
interesting
cool.
that is how
it's brilliant.
AI sees itself.
Yes,
I
of
didn't
course.
program that in. I just let it interpret whatever.
That's
So I
kinda
thought that
funny.
was interesting.
That is interesting.
So this is a Chinese metaphysical consultant. Her interview was last year in People magazine, and she says it's going to be a really intense, fast-moving year, which kind of makes sense. The compression we were talking about, all these things being thrown at us at once and happening. And she's kind of like, don't be too impulsive in your decision making, because it's just so intense and things are moving so fast. Kind of weigh it out a little bit, is her view on that. Does that align with your astrological stuff, Denise?
Oh, well, this year, having Neptune move into Aries, having Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, this is like a kind of like a firestorm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The air feeding the fire. And this year in the U.S., there's an aspect that happens every 82 years or something, like 84 years. It's Uranus return to Gemini. And every time Uranus has been in Gemini, there has been a major war or some kind of violent war situation on our soil. So it was during the Revolutionary War, during the Civil War, during Pearl Harbor, and now it's back. So this kind of, to me, is all the signs, all of the different outer planets, that return, the Pluto return of the U.S. Constitution chart. This Mars is going to be joining it in the summer, right around
geez.
the 250-year anniversary of the July 4th. Like right in that week, they're conjunct, and that is a really violent kind of signature. And having Neptune and Saturn move into Aries right now, Neptune is sort of the Neptune in Aries placement is being constrained a little bit by the Saturn in Aries, So they're both of those being in, I mean, Aries rules fire and it rules violence, it rules war and and action. So we're coming out of this period of real confusion. Like Neptune and Pisces was this sort of, I don't know what to believe, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to think, kind of all this sort of gobbledygooky kind of feeling like you're swimming around in a big soup of lies. But now that it's moved into Aries and
Yeah.
it's staying in that, it's like people are going to take action. They're not going to be confused. They're going to be pissed off. And they're going to start really moving things. They're going to move really fast. And it's a very big sea change that I think is going to lead to a lot of aggression and anger and violence, coming
It's
in.
headed that way now.
It's headed that way. Yeah.
You know, the
Yep.
other aspect.
I've had a
of
really
this-
bad feeling about July 4th.
Oh, I wouldn't go to any,
What, Helen?
I would, I would, I would,
say the other aspect of AI that really concerns me, and my personal experience of it, I may correct me if I'm wrong. AI is involved with, you go to a website you belong to and you need customer help and you get AI,
Right.
correct?
and it's terrible.
It
Yeah.
sucks. And I think we're
Yeah.
complicit in the marginalization of the human race. I think this
Yeah.
is terrible.
Well, we're not. The corporations are doing this to us. We don't like it. I don't like
people
it.
use AI and talk about how wonderful it is. We're complicit.
Well,
we
I mean, it's
boycott-
different. It's different on a personal level than
Well,
it is.
but like
on,
Kathy is
like-
saying, she says,
Hey, Kim.
yeah, and she says, my husband is an engineer in the space industry. AI is scary good. And I'm not in, did I freeze?
You did.
I'm not
Yeah.
definitely not in that field, but I agree with problem solving. It can be very, very good. So
Right.
it
Yeah,
just
but-
depends
but
on
the
how you
things
use
that-
it.
It's how it's used. It does depend on how it's used and
Kind
how
of
it
where I'm
applies.
at.
It's not great at like human stuff,
Yeah, the things that make us human, interaction with other
Right.
people,
Right.
compassion, emotions,
Right.
empathy. My son-in-law is an artist and he does graphic work. You know, as an artist, it's hard to find jobs. So his job, he does advertising.
Right. Graphic
for a
art. Yeah.
company.
It's a
They're-
commercial.
Right now, they have him teaching AI how to do his job.
Right. He's going to be gone. Oh, he's going to be.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a job. Yeah. And they're very mixed
Creative
about it.
Film
Yeah.
says both of our sons are computer engineers and they're very mixed about AI.
Yeah.
I see that, and even a lot of the engineers behind AI are mixed about it.
Yes, that's
You know,
right. A lot
And
of them are
most
really
of them are
freaked out.
saying we need regulation. You know,
Yes,
they're-
pretty much all of them are
just
saying
don't
that.
just let
Yeah.
it rip. You know, the way that
Right.
the federal government is trying to do now, and they're trying to say that the states aren't allowed to
Yes.
regulate AI in
Okay.
the states, and that's wrong. What about these states' rights that were such a big thing?
Yeah, right. Oh, it only
Only-
works in their favor
Only
when they
some
do.
states, right?
Only the ones they
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But I was going to say about the coming this summertime, like right around leading up to July 4th and right after July 4th. I would not go personally. I would not go to any of those celebrations this year. Personally, I would not go to them because I think stuff is going to happen in that context. And I mean, I've been thinking about this, like having weird feelings like the last couple of years, going like this would be a really perfect place for something really terrible to happen because there's all this noise and
Yep.
stuff could happen and you wouldn't even notice it at first. And I'm just saying that because I think it's just too weird that all
real
that stuff
symbolic.
is aligning and it's symbolic and it's a 250-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen around that period of time, big time. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there was the assassination prediction too for
That
this year.
would be
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. My son graduated computer
Well, and
science.
then you got people partying and drinking and whatever, and it's just that whole atmosphere. Her son
And loud
graduated computer
noises,
science
things
last year
exploding.
and cannot find a job in his field. Exactly.
Young people are really
Yeah,
That-
that's
that
a huge
is-
thing.
that's
people
where-
in computer science and programming.
And also in your profession in law, I heard that like people coming out of law school
Oh, yeah.
are not being able to get jobs because of AI because
Yep.
you're the sort of very rudimentary sort of jobs that a young lawyer would get are being replaced. It's cheaper just to use AI, and they're not needed. And like, well,
Yep.
what are they going to do? How are they going to
Especially
learn how to be
contractual
lawyers?
law, that kind of stuff for sure.
This is
Right.
I
what
mean, and
happens
our
when a
area is
culture-
so fluid, it's not going to be an issue for a while, I don't think.
Right.
And because we're too dependent on the climate and fights and litigation and research, historical research. So, what
Yeah.
were you going to say, Helen?
Yeah.
I'm
what
sorry,
were you-
there's a bit of a lag.
yeah.
And an echo. I don't know who's talking.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Oh, well, I know I'm getting very philosophical, but this is what happens when a culture prioritizes money and gain and power. This is what happens. And I don't know how to say this other than we have to stop contributing to it. We have to stop participating in that. And I don't know how to do that.
I've thought about that a lot. That issue of how do we stop participating in it? I mean, maybe we all don't pay our taxes anymore to the federal government. I don't think we could get everyone to do that. But if you stopped supporting it financially, it would collapse on itself, and it wouldn't.
You need a concerted
You would
effort.
need everybody to do it at the same time. But
Yeah.
I mean, because I hate the idea that my money is going to fund this bullshit. I hate that. I don't want to fund this bullshit. It really bothers me. But
What
you
bothers
can't.
me too, and on a more of a spiritual level, it's like, does that make me karmically responsible for this shit?
I know,
You know?
that's true because you're kind of propping it up with your resources, and that's
knock
that's.
it off.
I mean, not you personally, but we all are because
No,
but we're
exactly.
constrained by the fact that we go to jail if we don't do it. So it's kind of like, should we all go to jail? If everybody stopped paying their taxes, they can't arrest everyone. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I hate to be
So
the one to
Indigo
say,
Moon works in HR. She hopes she's safe with the AI thing. I don't know where they're headed with. I don't know.
I think that seems
There's
like
no
HR
employees.
is human resources.
That's
so
more
it's just
human.
that-
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little more, especially in
This is-
conflict resolution.
Yeah, generally it's like psychology background. So I don't think AI would be that great at that, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Well, HR
Maybe
deals
pull
with
some more.
employment, and if they're not hiring anybody,
Yep.
Oh,
Live
that's
and
true.
eat as local as possible, HBH says. I 100% agree. Creative films. I'm changing my nickname here, BRB. Okay. Oh, she'll be right back. Okay. I'm slow, sorry. The plants are feeling these changes too and can help us with these changes. Totally agree, HBH. The whole
both
earth
and I
feels it.
are good because
Yes.
we never leave the house, right?
Yeah. Okay, and then Darcy says the money thing, we need a reading on when the other countries will dump their bonds. We've come close several times. Isn't Japan starting to dump them? I think.
I thought
A
Steve
good
was-
question, Darcy.
Yeah,
I
the-
think
the
they're
whole-
going to.
They will. They will eventually. Well, that's an interesting question. There's an echo going on. I don't know where it's coming from.
Yeah, it's very.
I don't
find
either.
it
It just
distracting.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's it.
hello.
I know. Can you hear the echo too?
Yeah.
Oh, annoying.
I don't
Okay.
hear it.
I feel like I can't talk though because it's
I know.
it's just so weird. But I think that there is that's something to look into astrologically to see when that happens. But I know that as soon as if we make moves to invade Greenland, then for sure that will happen immediately. The trade bazooka thing, that would happen immediately.
That shit crazy is that? Do you hear
It's
that
totally
that just
crazy.
Came out of your mouth.
I know.
That's
God.
not going to happen, though, right?
I think it will happen. I think it will happen. Yeah. Yeah. Not right now. Probably not this year. But I think that is a real goal from the technocrats. That.
That falls under no fucking way.
no.
So did a lot of things. So did a lot of things.
My husband who keeps saying, but that's against the Constitution.
I know. Or like, that can't happen here. I mean, I know my husband doesn't think it's going to happen either, but I'm pretty certain it will happen eventually. As long as you have these idiots in power, that is something they are going to try to do. Now, we'll see. Maybe we can avoid that if we push back enough. We'll see.
I don't want to live in fear.
I know, I don't
As
either.
these events come to
Yes.
light, and as these predictions start having a shimmer of reality on them, I find my overall
Yes.
anxiety is rising.
Yeah.
You know, my trust levels are being reduced.
Mhm.
This is unpleasant. I'm too old for what's coming my way.
Everybody has been saying that to me, and I know that's true. But here's the thing. I mean, I feel like that is true. This is very anxiety provoking. But at the same time, you have to kind of get to this place where you can kind of go, well, this is happening, and I have to just do me and like do my life and try to be grounded and centered.
Listen, this
Kind of-
I don't
morning
know where
I was
that
in a
fits in my bipolar self.
But both this morning I was in a cold sweat because people were talking to me, sending me messages about this whole
Deborah's, your mic,
DHS thing.
all kinds of noise, Deborah.
But
Yeah.
you know,
I
got that
switched to a
message last
different one. Does that work?
Except for that, it's making all kinds of noises.
Is it still echoing?
It's because
It's
I think
not
it's
echoing.
it's not echoing, but it's but your mic is picking
like
up
you're
some kind of
shuffling.
noise from the hanging thing. I think it's hitting something and making a bunch of noise. Yeah.
That's nice and quiet, but she's
Oh, I
frozen.
know.
No,
I
she's
know.
not.
No, she's just trying to fix it. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. There
That's
you go.
better, honey.
Yeah, that's good. What were you? Who was talking? I
was telling Bove that I was in a cold sweat this morning because I was getting all these messages about this DHS thing, right? And then I realized, wait a minute, I made this big grandiose video the other day, not my ideas. This is just message I got about how we have to not live in fear, that fear is an illusion, that we're here to experience whatever is happening in the moment. Don't worry about the future, and I'm like, oh yeah, I agree with that totally, until this morning when it
right. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, you got to flip back and forth.
Yeah, it's hard.
I mean, it's really unfortunate, but it's very stressful. But I mean, what do you? I mean, I think everybody feels kind of stymied, like on what to do next, and
that's the whole point.
I do too.
We're learning.
Yeah.
It's a process of evolution, and it sucks. It's like it was described as when you harden steel, it has to go through fire.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't like this.
I don't either. And like everybody's echoing, we're too old for this shit. I mean, we're all too old for this shit. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Screw up. Okay, I think that's exactly true. I've been saying that for a long time. That's definitely coming, and I think people will come out of those grassroots movements, and there will be leaders that come out of those things as well down the road. Yeah. Deborah, I can't hear you now. You're muted. You're muted. Deborah. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, honey.
We had too many shows in a row where everything was working. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So that one was from 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, let's see, one more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the Jin Bodhi organization. They're saying that there's going to be upheaval, social unrest, possible natural disasters. So it was interesting that this all aligned with this game theory stuff. The end. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Well, we built our foundation on sand. This country was founded on genocide and enslavement and colonization, and we have never dealt with that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah. True.
Am I echoing?
Nope, you're
No.
good now.
Okay. Yeah, it's
I can't. Oh,
what?
go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
go
honey.
ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I came into this show. I posted on Facebook, ooh, this is going to be an interesting topic. Because I come in with my little piece of knowledge that I was born a wood dragon.
Oh,
That's
you're a wood
all
dragon. I know. I'm Dave the Wood Dragon. That's funny.
So
Yeah.
what's a wood
What
dragon?
year is that?
Well, Wood Dragon is
64.
yeah. I'm not born in 64, but if you do, the more you get into Chinese astrology, it's more complex than just the year you're born. But yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
she hurries up and catches up with some people.
Yeah.
She always does. She always does. Yeah.
You know, what it feels like right now, it just feels like we're in this like nebulous bubble where we know
Yeah.
all this like really creepy stuff is out there.
Yeah.
You know, and
It's
it's
about to
like
break.
it just feels like it's going to just explode by
Yes,
spring,
it
summer.
does.
That's the
Like a
feeling.
boil,
Totally.
just like a
Totally.
boil.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's been an interesting thing that I've noticed the pattern. It seems like there's like this onslaught of shit, and it's and then there's like this weird kind of stillness, and then there's another
Yeah.
onslaught of shit, and then this thing, and it seems to be the way things are going. Usually before it's tour schedule in Eastern Airports, and I'm quite nervous about what could be going on.
Oh,
I don't blame you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, decide when it's closer.
Yeah. Well, it's hard
Yeah.
to tour.
I know it's hard. I
cancel
know.
it. Yeah. Wow. That's a bit scary.
That's cool. You've got a tour out there, though. Very cool.
Yeah, that is. That's good. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think
I
it's
can
going to
relate. I'm
be.
afraid to go to Walmart.
What?
I
Is that
said
your
I can
tour? You go to
relate. I'm
Walmart?
afraid to go to Walmart down the street. You know, I can relate. Apprehension about going someplace. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
Yes.
so next week, what we're going to hit, Denise kind of inspired this one because apparently there's a UFO wave in Wisconsin right now. And the
Yes.
last time was in 75, 76.
yep.
And
Were you living there
know,
then? I was wondering, were you living
yes,
there?
I was a kid then.
That's what
And
I
I
thought.
had
I
some
didn't-
weird things going on
I
then.
thought you probably, when I read that, when I saw that, I was like, I bet this is part of what was going on when you were growing up and your dad was like talking about it. I was like, you were probably right in the middle of that wave because you're living in Wisconsin, right?
They're looking
Yep.
for you, Deborah. They're coming back for you.
That's
Okay,
why my
well-
microphones have been screwing up. They're like around right now.
They're outside.
So I'm trying to find a meditation or something to remember some of the things that went on back then because there
Right.
was one incident that was so strange. And you know when people have shared UFO experiences, they don't really talk about it afterwards?
Yes. Yeah.
So I was with my dad and we were on a snowmobile going through the woods because this was way up north at Chequamegon Bay where Starman landed. And we're going along and then we get to this clearing and there was a huge ship, like a ship that would be like on an ocean, those kind of ships, like a great big huge
Wow.
cargo ship or something.
Wow.
And we just kind of looked at it and then kept going. And then afterwards I thought, but it's like when your thoughts are like fragmented like
Yes.
that, it was like, what on earth would a ship be there? You know,
Right,
in
right.
the middle of the
That's probably-
forest in the
Yeah.
snow.
No. You know what that
And-
is? That screen
yeah.
memory.
And
Yeah.
so my father had that too. And I asked him, I said, what was it? He goes, it was a ship. And I said, well, why is it in the woods?
Right.
And he goes, I don't know. I guess it just was, So he was going through that too. So I'm trying
Right,
to find a way to hypnotize myself to
Right,
see what went on during that period. So that would
Yeah.
have been like 75, I think, or 76, somewhere around there. And when we've been doing the Cosmic Fold Paranormal Highway on Saturdays, those 2 years seem to there's all these activities that go on. Like in Iowa, they called it the Bigfoot wave, where all these people were like seeing
Oh
Bigfoot.
yeah.
Then the one we just finished on Maine, that was where the Allagash abduction thing happened. And and they were describing exactly what I went through having a UFO experience, where they went through this swirly black thing. And that's what I remember too, was going through that. And that was like one of the first times I read of people who have had these, and I don't know if it was an abduction or what it was, but now that was 75 for them. And so Maine had like all of these things going on too during those years.
Right.
And
That was
then
like
so
yeah.
many of these states, so we're at Maryland now, but it's like 1975, 76. I don't know what was going on there. But I think
Yeah.
that'll make an interesting, lighter show next time, because
Yeah.
the stuff is kind of heavy.
Right. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
and from your astrological insight, I'd be really interested in what you pick up about that, because it was also a time of cults. I
Right.
was growing up in a cult then. This is
Right.
when the Christian Dominionists started their
Yeah.
Seven Mountains thing was then. So what was going on in 75,
Wasn't that Travis
76?
Walton?
The
I think,
bison.
yeah.
He
Well,
was too.
Yeah.
He was too,
Yes,
and that's
wasn't
not
that
far
in
from
Arizona?
here. Yeah, I
Yeah.
met him. I used to live out that way, and that particular road is kind of weird, because I was doing a website for an art museum in Belgium, and the museum owner came to visit me, and she just freaked out on that road and had to turn off. She said, "There's like something here. It's like a different time." And every time I drive, I try to avoid that road just because it's so strange. And I met Travis Walton when I had a bookstore. One of the nicest people, not pretentious, not like I know it all. I had this, just a really, really nice guy. And I believe him.
He's an
Oh, I
Aquarian.
believe. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he said that how they portrayed that in the movie was just so dramatized. It
wrong.
wasn't
Oh,
like
Yeah.
what he went through.
Sucked. It was so bad. Oh,
It was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not in keeping with his book. He wrote a book. He told a story of what happened. And it's like hundreds of dollars. You can't find it anywhere.
They have it up here. They kind of celebrate him still, like in the
Oh.
newspaper, because it's like our big thing here,
Oh yeah.
And
Oh, you
so
have to-
Be Grateful has to commit in the next month for her trip for her music performance, or his, whatever.
Yeah.
Play it by ear. Get a reading
No
from
fun.
one of those
No
two.
fun.
Get a reading from Denise. Get a reading from... You do readings too, right, Helen?
Yeah,
You don't
but
really
get a
market it
reading from
much.
Denise. I'd rather do a reading on a political figure. I don't want to advise anybody to go to Poland.
Well, interestingly,
Christopher?
in the I was just looking at the astrology. In the 60s, there was a massive waves of UFOs. Like there was
Yep.
just one flap after the next. But there was a Uranus-Pluto conjunction. And Uranus and Aquarius are like rule things in the sky. So UFOs are under that kind of
Yeah.
banner. So that Uranus-Pluto conjunction is very like transformative, weird encounters, right? And lots of them. And it was sort of the 60s. There's all that Uranus-Pluto energy, that combination. But then in 75, Uranus went from Libra into Scorpio, which Pluto rules Scorpio. So it's sort of a similar kind of return to that kind of energy of this massively transformative thing that has to do with something from the skies or the heavens. That's probably what it is, that kind of thing is going on. Right now, though, Uranus is in Gemini, but it is trining Pluto. So that's interesting too. So there seems to be, when there's a Uranus-Pluto interaction, you get more of this, which tells you the UFO stuff is it's not just people from another place. There's
No,
something
no.
spiritual and transformative, and they're here to kind of change people's the way they think about things. And that I think that's what the flaps are about, really.
Well,
Jacques-
and part
Jacques
of what
Vallée
I think... Go ahead, Helen. There's a lag. Go ahead.
Okay.
No,
Jacques Vallée
there's a
has
lag.
This theory that throughout history, humankind is always having these weird experiences. First, it was the gods and goddesses are with us,
Right,
and they're,
right, right.
and then it was Mary is appearing everywhere and performing miracles and all, and then UFOs, and there's stuff in between. But there's this
Fairies.
chronology of
Right,
inexplicable mystical events that always
right,
present in a way that relates to the time and place. Like if you
right.
showed a UFO to somebody in the 1840s, they wouldn't know what they were looking at.
Although
You
you
see,
do see UFOs in ancient, like
Yes,
in old art.
right,
some of that
right,
old
but you
art, it's
see
in some
them.
of it.
You see
Yeah.
them in relationship to the Madonna, and they're above
Yes,
her.
you
And I
see
think
that
that means,
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
true.
so there's a connection there. But his theory was that it's not about what you're looking at. It's about what it makes you think about afterwards that matters. It's
right.
a nudge to evolution, to spiritual evolution.
Yeah. There's
You know what
definitely a
was interesting in the 70s was that there
mm-hmm.
seemed to be more of an interaction with people, where it was more
Mm-hmm.
sightings, I think, before
Yes.
then. Some of
Yeah.
this over military installations, quite a bit of it
Yeah.
over them.
Yeah.
In the 70s, it became personalized a little bit. And I've got
Yeah.
kind of a whacked
70s
out
and
theory.
80s. Yeah.
You grew up near the Great Lakes too, but I don't know, I could be crazy, but I kind of feel like there's something very ancient associated with the Great Lakes,
Yeah.
that there's like something there that has something to do with this stuff.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know
agree.
what it is, but I just feel like that. And it's
No, I
like
Well,
think
they
you're right.
waking
exist
up again.
underwater, and they exist under the
Yeah.
ground.
Oh, yeah.
They do have
Yeah.
underground. People think the underground bases, and there definitely people think there is one underground stuff in like Michigan and certainly off the coasts, especially off in the Pacific.
Yep.
But you know, the other thing is, if you notice that same Uranus Neptune conjunction that happened in the 80s, that's when all the mass abduction stuff started, and
Yes.
that's interesting too. It was sort of like people having tons of people having these experiences where they're being taken and medical experiments and weird hybridization things and all that stuff. That there seems to be some kind of it's interesting. I should look
Yeah,
at
there's
that lens.
more
Yeah.
Yeah.
than one purpose, saving chromosomal or genetic material.
Yeah,
But
genetic material.
Skinner boxes, that operant conditioning. So there's this theory.
Oh yeah,
So
Skinner. Oh
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
how people learn,
yeah, yeah,
right? So
yeah,
there's
yeah.
this theory that if you present something you want people to learn and you do it in an unpredictable way, so they never quite know when it's going to show up.
Right.
And if you repeat that over and over, that people learn faster and they don't forget. And
That
there's
makes
this
sense.
theory that we're being taught in an attempt to raise our spiritual
Consciousness.
evolution. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, our understanding of consciousness. And it's happened over this hugely broad spectrum of time. So therefore, the gods and goddesses, Mary, UFOs, it's all part of the same thing. There's flaps. They come, they're concentrated. You never know when you're going to see them. And then all of a sudden they go away.
Gone.
And yeah.
Right.
And that's intentional because it's getting us first to look, making us think about reality, about consciousness, about the nature of our existence. And then they're gone. And then they
Right.
come back and do it over again. That it's actually a long-term process of teaching us.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I don't know.
But what was
I
so
know.
weird, like I do meditations like the very first thing in the morning before coffee, anything. I just do that. And what I got like consistently last week was like, you need to tap into what went on in the 70s. It was like
Right.
this like thing. And then you talked about or sent a link to that. It was
Yeah.
like a confirmation. There's
Yeah. Well,
something from that period.
I immediately thought of that experience that you were talking about. When I saw that, I'm like, there's something. I just thought of you when I saw that. And so I sent it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something going on.
And I think it hit the Chicago area and everything too. But there's some lesson in that. Maybe it's just personal for me or it's something interesting. But I need to like dig and find
into it.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. You should.
There's something
What
there.
happened in the 70s? Or just you're talking about
A lot of
the-
UFO experiences,
no.
and this
I
was in
saw 'em.
Wisconsin.
I saw a massive UFO in '77.
Yeah.
I think I told you about that. That was the
Yeah.
first UFO I saw, but on my birthday. But that was, that was in a wooded kind of part outside of Chicago,
Yep.
north of Chicago, right near, not far from the lake. Yeah. So
Yep.
similar thing. Probably the same kind of activity because Wisconsin, Illinois, northern Illinois,
They're all connected.
connected. Yeah. Similar. Yeah.
So anyway, the Chinese astrology seemed kind of dark, but all of it does.
Yeah,
No, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wonder if people feel this globally, this same
Oh, yes.
like unrest
They
that
have
we are.
to.
Yes.
If
Yes,
they're
they
paying
do.
attention or enlightened on any level, you can't miss this shit.
No.
6,000 people were massacred in villages in Africa last week or the week before by
Really?
roving militia.
I didn't know that. Oh
I didn't
God.
even know.
6,000 people.
Wow, that's horrifying. Wow.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was Nigeria.
It could have been
Sometimes you wouldn't-
Nigeria.
Yeah. I mean, I did read about it, but it goes in one ear and out the other because I don't have
Well, there's
space
so much
for all the
going on.
tragedy. Yeah.
So
Well,
much
yeah, and
going
it
on.
overwhelms you after a while if you have any degree of empathy or
Yeah. Exactly.
compassion. It just like, ugh. But anyway, any closing thoughts, you guys? And next week we'll lighten it up a little bit.
Oh, I'm sure
I
we'll
don't.
be able to bring something dark into it.
It's always so good to see you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
fun.
I love
thank
it.
you to all of our people who came and visited tonight. Thank you very,
Yeah.
very much.
So nice to
Appreciate
see
it.
returning victims.
Yes, I know. That's good that people are coming back.
It
That's
is.
nice.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is.
So, well, love and respect to all. And
Yes.
just
Same.
hang on to your boots,
Blessings,
hang on to your
blessings.
socks. We got a fun ride on the horse ahead. Thank you, Keith. All right, you all. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank
Bye,
you,
guys.
Deborah.
Yeah, thanks, Deborah.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes and our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.